Hello everyone. I'm here on the old tennis courts at Hatley Park with Royal Road's apiarist, Alanna Morbin. This area is now home to our pollinating bees. As many of you know, bees are in trouble here and around the world with populations in serious decline. Factors like climate change, destruction of habitat, and the use of pesticides, which are toxic to bees, are all contributing to their decline. So Alanna, in addition to adding some safe homes for bees here, what else can people do to help protect bees?
Well, I'd say in two words, forage and habitat. So like we're doing here, bees, honeybees and native bees, native pollinators, all need a home and they need habitat for that. So things like having wild plants around and leaving things in your garden over the winter, dried shrubbery, that sort of thing. They can all make a nest in that. A lot of bees will overwinter in the ground or in shrubbery, so that really helps them to carry on for the next season. And then forage as well. We can't all be farmers, and some of us have small places, but we can all grow plants that bees can forage from. And that's native bees and honeybees. So there are plants that they will prefer. You'll often see things like honeybees or mason bees around in the spring, and they're always looking for food, which is nectar and pollen.
Now this might seem like a small project, but it's a big part of sustainability here at Royal Roads. These bees will play such an important role as we expand our kitchen garden, as well as helping to pollinate the flowers and trees in the region. So I understand bees are critical pollinators, but there also are other pollinators as well to consider. And could you tell us a little bit more about native bees and mason bees and others as well, other important pollinators?
Certainly. There are native bees in British Columbia and all of Canada, and you've often seen ones like bumblebees we're very familiar with. There are other ones such as mason bees, which are very prolific in the spring, and they're very good pollinators for us for things like fruit trees when the weather is cool and rainy, and things like honeybees won't be out flying as much. We also have things like carpenter bees and sweat bees, and they're very small, and often you'll see them on flowers and you'll wonder if that's a bee or if it's a fly. And those are the native pollinators that have been here always.
Yeah. And there's no conflict between honeybees and native pollinators, is there?
Well, that's a good question. Honeybees tend to forage in a certain way. They'll use large areas and they prefer certain plants. Whereas, say, bumblebees will forage on different types of flowers, and they will, it's often based on how they're designed as well, like their proboscis and that sort. So in some ways, honeybees and native pollinators have other areas that they will forage, but they often do share spaces, and there can be some competition, and there's a lot of studies happening right now on that topic. So there are good discussions in the scientific community about that, and we're learning more. And that's all the reason why we like to ensure that we're providing homes for native pollinators as well as when we're enjoying honeybees.
We'll also use this apiary as a living lab for our environmental science students. And as things open up again, we hope to welcome classes from local schools as well. The idea for these hives came from our students, and that's the kind of leadership and thinking we encourage here. This project is a perfect example of us living our learning. You're most welcome to come by and observe the hive from a safe distance. While it's not quite enough to make jars and jars of honey just yet, I was privileged to have a taste of last year's product, and I look forward to the day when we might be able to share honey more broadly with the community. If you'd like to learn more about how to care for bees, we have beekeeping courses available through professional and continuing studies. These courses are taught by master beekeeper Bob Liptrot, who you may know from Tugwell Creek Meadery and Honey Farm. We want to keep our bees happy and buzzing. If you'd like to help support the apiary project, please donate at rruinbloom.ca. And for inspiration, I'll leave you with this quote from the book Listening to Bees, co-authored by scientist Mark Winston and poet Renee Saklikar. that connect the head and heart of this important work. Into the bee yard you brought me, and so we whispered, let the song reside in us forever.